Hello and welcome to another College TF review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Hasbro Kingdom Core Class Optimus Prime. And right off the bat, I just want to say I've always been a huge fan of Hasbro's Core Class and Legacy lines, seeing that they were some of my first Transformers to begin with, and I think they are a great price point for little figures, especially for those just getting into collecting, or as in my case right now, living in a college dorm where I don't have that much space to display all my Deluxe and Voyager and Titan class figures. They are a great way for me to still be able to bring my hobby with me and enjoy these wonderful figures. So let's have a look at this Core Class Optimus Prime. I think this new line from Hasbro, part of the Kingdom and Earthrise waves, or Kingdom and Legacy waves, has been pretty good overall for around the $10 price point for these figures. Optimus Prime has a pretty nice face sculpt there, very reminiscent of the cartoon, and then his overall appearance here is of course that of the Earthrise and Kingdom truck mode. So very nice face sculpt, nice paint apps for such a tiny guy, of course. Got the silver going down the waist. Of course there could be some more paint in here to kind of match the silver on the sides, but not a big deal given the price point. Nice silver on the shins there, and then we do get the light details here on the feet, but they are not painted, but still nice molding all around on the insides of the legs. Now of course, these guys being cheaper, there is a fair amount of hollowness, right? You can see the hollowness on the inside of the thigh, and then of course on the inside of the arms here that's part of transformation, so that's not a big deal. Real quick, going over articulation, his head is on a swivel joint, so it can look left to right. You can get him to look up and down a little bit, just exploiting this transformation joint, though that doesn't always look the best. Sometimes I use it to look down a little bit, but I would not recommend using it to look up. Then the shoulders, we kind of get like a half butterfly joint due to transformation, so you can get them into some more generic poses. And then we of course get a ball joint here, so we can go out to full 90 and then around the full 360. We also get a ball joint here at the elbow, also in part due to transformation. So that gets you to the full 90-degree bend there, and then you can also use it as an upper arm swivel too, to go out to the side and get bends. And then at the wrists, we don't really get anything, but if you wanted to exploit the transformation joint, you could bend them inwards. However, that doesn't invoke a great deal of range when you have the gun attached. Then we don't get any kind of swivel anywhere up top or ab crunch unless you undo this joint here. Then you could use it as kind of an ab crunch, though that does not look the best. And then at the thighs, we do get a ball joint here, so you can split all the way up to 90 there, kick forward to 90, and back is a bit more limited because of this piece back here, being the front of the truck. Then at the knees, we get another ball joint. This guy is, all of these Core Class and Legends figures have always been led with ball joints to enable ease of transformation. I think that's actually great for posability. And so we get a full 90, even past 90, just kind of exploiting the hollowness on the back of his legs here, which is kind of unfortunate. I would have preferred that be filled in. We just get that bend there, but still you could almost use some of that hollowness to fit this back part of the truck in if you want to get a greater range of motion. And then you can of course use that as also a swivel up here, and then nothing at the feet, which is unfortunate because I think they could have totally implemented some sort of rocker joint in here. And as we get to truck mode, you'll see that these feet obviously don't collapse, and it would have been nice if they could have just angled down or something like on some of the third-party offerings in this size, or just like on Earthrise and Kingdom Voyager Optimus Prime. But overall, I would say his articulation's pretty good for a little figure, and he definitely looks the part. Certainly recognizable and pretty well priced. So taking a look real quick at his gun. Pretty nice version of his ion blaster. Very simple, of course. The sculpting is honestly very shallow, but not too bad, and of course hollowed out on the bottom here due to the price point. but not half bad. I would have liked to see maybe some silver paint up here and Just maybe a few more sculpted in details, but for what it is, it's all right. And now into transformation, pretty straightforward as these guys are meant to be, but still pretty rewarding. Though I will say this guy is a little bit more finicky than some of the other core class transformers, but still very easy to transform. So of course first, just want to tuck his head into that cavity and then flip up the cover from and back. Then I like to go to his wrists and flip them in, and you'll see that that really reveals this red painted back part of the wrist that fills out the side of the truck, which I thought was a neat method to transform we haven't really seen before. Then come down to the legs, and those just snap together. And then we want to disengage the joint back here. I said earlier for that ab crunch, if you wanted to implement it, then just rotate this down, and then we of course rotate the front around, as has become very common on these Prime figures, revealing using just that faux chest, but I think it looks the part, so it's a fine compromise in my opinion. Just want to rotate the shoulders down, bring the arm up to that 90-degree bend, and then angle back. And we just want to angle this in so it all seats like that. Lines up pretty well. And then make sure I just leave enough clearance here, because eventually we'll want to get this little tab into that slot, which can be a bit tricky given how stiff these ball joints are. But that being said, I'd rather them be very stiff than floppy. Do the same thing on the other side here. Line everything up. And then we actually need to angle these back real quick before we get into anything. I just like to do those first, as it can be kind of finicky to do them later, because we want to flip this side up, and now we just want to angle all those back in where we had them. And then comes trying to get those little tabs underneath into the bottom of the arm. So you want to get it on both sides. Just requires a little bit of angling, and there we go. Have them all tabbed in. Looks pretty good. Just adjust a few of the ball joints, and there you have Kingdom Core Class Optimus Prime in his Earth truck mode. I think this does a pretty good job of representing that Freightliner look. A little bit tall in terms of the truck height, but overall I think the details are pretty good. Nice looking grill section. Again, this is his waist. I wish they could have painted this a little more to give it some more definition, but it does have the sculpted in details, so that's nice. And then the front, of course, looks good. I wish they had continued the silver striping around the side. That's a little bit lazy, but it still looks pretty good overall, I would say, for the size and price point. And of course, I don't like the way these toes stick up and back. They could have just folded down and then maybe included like a trailer or something. I would have paid up to like, $20 for that. It would have been reasonable. But we still do get some of that, nice sculpted in detail. We have the trailer hitch there. And then the wheels are just on mushroom pegs, but he does roll pretty freely back and forth, so that's good. And then in terms of weapon storage, we can take the gun, and there's a few different ways you can tab it in. So we get this tab here that is supposed to be able to tab into the side of the truck up here, though I find this very difficult to do. It doesn't tend to stay in all that well, just kind of pops out. You can try it on either side, and I honestly don't think it looks the best. I've never been a really big fan of attaching the guns on the sides, and seeing it doesn't work that well, we won't worry about it. So the other more convenient method of weapon storage is just to utilize that trailer hitch, and so we can just stick the gun in back there, Prime, like so. And there's one way to store the gun, or you can flip it around, either way. That you can have Prime with all of his accessories. Now, I will say what was interesting is in the instruction booklet, which unfortunately I don't have with me right now, it does show a picture of Prime with his axe, which he never came with, and seeing the way this figure transforms, there actually are pegs that are revealed on this side of the arm joint there that definitely look as though they could accommodate an axe piece. It's too bad they didn't give it to us, but if you're interested and you have a 3D printer on hand, it's pretty easy to get, pretty easy to make a part for that. There's plenty of ideas available on Thingiverse if you are so inclined. But overall, I'd say this is a great little figure from Hasbro. Definitely good for the lower price point range for collecting, and offers just a nice little figure that's fun to play with for sure. Please let me know if you like these core class figures and what your opinions are of the smaller scale figures down in the comments below. If you like this video, please remember to subscribe and like, and stay tuned for some more core class videos. I will of course have some more New Age and other Legend scale figures coming up, as well as we'll have a look at some Deluxe and Voyager class figures soon too. Thank you.